All right, so we've got a tremendous amount of silicon on the surface of your skin, the entire surface of a creature's skin. Now, silicon does not exist in its atomic state. It has to bind with something in nature. And what happens is it becomes silicon dioxide. And that means silicon and oxygen. Silicon dioxide, two oxygens. Now, what does that mean? That's a platy polar silicate. And it's hard, and it's tough, and it's like a shingle. Now, what does that mean? Well, as the electrical currents in your body force ionically, electricity plates things let's go back to this. Let's take a cheap ring. You go buy a cheap ring. It's not solid gold, it's plated. What does that mean? Plated means that you put a piece of metal that's not expensive into a solution that has gold in solution, and it's called an electrolyte. And then you put electricity through that solution and then through that ring, and what happens is the electricity carries these gold particles and they begin to plate that ring. And as they plate, they get thicker and thicker and thicker. And if you left it in there for a week, you might have a ring that'd be like almost all gold, but your base metal is going to be inside. But my point is that the inside part of the creature that we're plating stays just like the inside of that ring would, and you're plating it with silicon dioxide. Silicon dioxide, what it does is it acts just like a shingle. And you get more shingles and another one on top of that, and it keeps adding them on until it sucks up all that silicon pretty much and creates a almost impervious layer. Now, what does that mean? Well, that means that whatever's inside that creature now, in that fabric bag that was once skin, that is now silicon dioxide, like shingles, what is inside that bag is the body of the creature. Now, what does that mean? That mean he ever just gonna sit as gooey stuff? No, it's gonna harden up. And why does it harden up? Well, here's why it hardens up: because there's still invasion. Even though it's now plated and seems to be almost impervious, there are a couple of molecules that can squiggle through these little cracks. And here's the ones they are: OH minus primarily, and OH minus means it's an ionic. I think it's like an acid, but anyway, it's OH minus hydroxy. Anyway, it's either real caustic or real acid, and these are the kinds of things that don't matter to you as a thinker of how things bond, because it's going to be one way or the other. So who cares? Now, my point is that this OH minus is really aggressive. Anything that's got an extra minus or an extra plus is aggressive. It's going to really find somebody, not just to walk around and observe. All right, so now that will go in there and it will disassociate other chemicals. There's all kinds of things in there, and it's looking for other stuff. And there's a ton of things in a body that is ionic and has pHs, and that is the nature of life, and that is what causes every interaction in your body is a pH difference, or it's that type of thing. It's a chemical switchover, and that's how the body works. It says, give me some of that, I'll give you some of this, have a nice day, goodbye, say hello, that type of thing. Anyway, it's the way it works. Now, as a result of these tiny little chemicals, and the OH minus, as I say, is really tiny, and then you have H2O. Now, what's the difference? One oxygen. One hydrogen. Oh, and I might have talked about veins before and saying they brought the red blood and the FeO3, which is the red blood, and it's not true. It's arteries. Remember this, because I do this all the time. And again, it's not, one of them's red, one of them's black. One of them is the vein, one of them is the artery. Well, if you remember good enough, remember the artery is the good blood, and that's the red blood. The vein is the black blood, and that's the blood that cannot go backwards, and the veins have clamps in them. And the veins will always, in a mud fossil, they'll always stay full. That's the key. And when there's a lot of, remember that, because that is critical when you start analyzing rock and what is in the rock, because granite is not natural rock. Granite is man-made, and it's crushed up, and you will find this black vein blood in copious quantities in tiny little fragments, because when they smash up the rock to process it, they crush anything that's inside, and that includes veins and arteries. And what's in the arteries is crystals and maybe some little red particulates, but what's in the vein is black caked blood that is hard as a rock, and it's been there for a long time and is now hard and solid and filled completely in these veins because they're clamped off. Now you smash up the rocks, you got a ton of this little particulate rolling around there. And my counters have it all in them. They're supposed to be natural granite rock. They're not. That's a man-made rock that somebody took all the metals out. There's no metals in it whatsoever. It's completely homogeneous of crushed little chunks, not like basalt, which is homogeneous because it's so finely grained from the magma. This is chunks. They call it granite, granular chunks. And they are separate little chunks, all crushed up together and then all pushed around in the same bucket until it was homogeneous. And when it hardens back up again, it's called granite. And it's not natural. And they call them granite intrusions. What is an intrusion? An intrusion means it's not supposed to be there. Why is it not supposed to be there? Well, somebody put it there. It didn't grow out of ground. They say, oh, it must have come out of ground somehow. No, absolutely not. And when you go some of these, it's just unbelievable. Anyway, we'll go through all of this stuff. But remember this, nothing you've heard about geology is correct. You know, I mean, there's some things that are superficially correct, you know, in a manner, but everything they tell you about rocks just being rocks, totally wrong. It's life. Everything that you have ever touched in your entire life was more life. There's not a dead rock that was never alive on the face of the planet, except lava, which lava is now going to become the food for the life that is active on the planet. That's how it works. It's exactly how it works. It's not recrystallization, it's decrystallization. When that stuff gets deep in the earth, and they proved this at the Russian Kola deep borehole in 1979, that the earth is spewing hydrocarbons at 8 miles deep, which is supposed to be about 7 miles deeper than anything was supposed to exist. And they knew this, and they refused to talk about it because it totally it shows that geology is crazy. There's no solid mantle down there. It's crushed rock, which is being digested. There's copious amounts of water. Where was that supposed to come from? Totally unexpected. There's crushed stone. There's hydrocarbons gushing and bubbling out of the ground, sizzling like fizzies when they come out of the ground, like Alka-Seltzer. Totally not what they told you, and nothing is. So listen to me, because I'm going to tell you the truth. Then you can make your own mind. Now, you know, you look what they're saying, look what I'm saying, look at what I'm showing, and look at what they're thinking. That's the difference. All right, good luck. I want to show you what I think is reality. You make your own mind up. All right? Hey, check this out. That's my father. That's a 1936 stainless steel Ford that I worked on when I was a kid, put a new floor in it. He was at the Special Alloys Division, Wallingford Steel. And I suppose that's where I got most of my interest. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you got some interest in this, because right now it's a whole new world. It's like you're gonna everybody that's listening to this and doing these things, you are about to walk into a new world, a whole new universe that you never even expected was there, and nobody did, and I didn't either. But it just unfolded in front of me because I found the mud fossils. And as soon as you see it, it'll just unfold in front of you. So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to be any special or anything. I just want to show what I found, and you see what you think. All right? Good luck. Thanks.